Tonight, NIU is spending more money on Lucinda again. Lawmakers are taking some time off and it's causing controversy. And just 2 votes might have made it difficult for some NIU students to come back next year. We'll explain.
You're watching NTC News, DeKalb County's only television news source, on the campus of Northern Illinois University and from the Northern Television Center. This is NTC News Tonight.
NIU is putting another $500,000 into the Lucinda extension. Good evening, I'm Shada Cook.
And I'm Tiara Austin. Our own Lark Lewis spoke with NIU officials and students to cut through all the extension talks.
NIU's Board of Trustees has recently approved funding to fix the newly extended Lucinda Avenue.
The university did know that there would be some additional work that would have to be on the extension in order to align the extension with what is now called Convocation Center Drive.
Fixing the alignment was always a part of the university's plan, even though it now seems like an afterthought.
Once the construction was underway and there was more evaluation being done, they realized, the university realized that that had to be addressed.
The goal was to make the road more accessible for pedestrians and drivers as soon as possible, and then make adjustments after the grand opening.
I know that a lot of students are using both the bike path and the pedestrian path. Felt that get the road open in the fall, be able to facilitate traffic here in the spring semester.
Not everyone on NIU's campus thinks this $550,000 fix is necessary.
As if we had the money, like we could use that towards towards the budget of the school, because we don't have really a lot of money because of the state not having a budget, and kind of update the residence hall and for the facilities that we make it more up to date and more for people that have disabilities, more access to them too.
Construction is set to start in the late spring, early summer, and is hoped to be completed by fall. For NTC News, I'm Lark Lewis.
Thanks, Lark. The Lucinda Extension Project was intended to create a direct route to Stevenson Hall and the Convocation Center. The extension stretches through where Douglas Hall once stood.
While the Lucinda extension may help students get around campus quicker, one campus visitor isn't in such a hurry. NIU officials says the FBI's investigation into the campus police department is over. However, FBI officials say this is an ongoing criminal investigation. In 2013, the FBI locked down the campus PD headquarters as they searched the building. During the search, they took several years' worth of records containing some of the most high-profile cases the department handled. The investigation is allegedly targeting 2 former NIU employees, Administrator Eddie Williams and former Police Chief Donald Grady.
The Sycamore Motel 6 kept its lights on, but this time for an unlikely criminal. Sycamore police were called to the motel on Thursday for the report of an armed robbery. Police say an armed man entered the motel lobby and took an undisclosed amount of cash. According to a news release, the man left in an SUV last seen on Peace Road. Anyone with information on the robbery is encouraged to call the Sycamore Police Department.
Down the road, a police officer and a woman were hospitalized after a crash in Sycamore on Tuesday. The DeKalb County Sheriff's Office says 72-year-old Sue Scott's car was struck by a 31-year-old Officer Jonathan Miller's police vehicle on Spartan Trail in Sycamore. Miller ran a red light in pursuit of another car when he struck the driver's side of Scott's vehicle. The Sycamore police chief says both were transported to Kishwaukee Hospital but did not have life-threatening injuries.
People who skipped out on getting health care coverage this year may be in for a rude awakening.
The penalty can be quite severe. It'll be more so next year. People have various ways they can exempt out of it, depending upon the level of income they have, whether or not they meet the poverty test. If they're out of the country for any period of time, being out of the country can exempt them.
The Affordable Care Act provides subsidized insurance for people who don't have access to coverage on the job. With the 2016 open enrollment season over, uninsured Americans should visit healthcare.gov to try to avoid fines next year.
While it seems every cent counts, layoffs are coming sooner rather than later for Kishwaukee College and Sycamore School District employees. Friday will be the last day for over 24 KISH employees after their Board of Trustees unanimously voted for the measure. Those affected by the Sycamore School District layoffs will be able to finish out the rest of the school year. KISH officials cite a decline in enrollment as well as the state budget problems as the main reasons behind the decision. The Sycamore District proposed the cuts as a cost-saving measure after beginning their school year with a $2.3 million deficit.
With spring break just around the corner, lawmakers are gearing up for their own vacation. But not everyone is thrilled about their sabbatical. Governor Rauner is blasting House Democrats over a month-long recess that will begin this week. The governor says the move amounts to a dereliction of duty while the state deals with the budget crisis.
Former Chicago Bears head coach Lovie Smith has been chosen as the head coach for the University of Illinois. But who's picking up the tab? Smith's deal is for 6 years and $21 million. With the state budget under fire, many are wondering how the school is able to pay for Smith's salary. U of I President Tim Killeen says there's a separate budget from the state and tuition funding that pays for academic programs.
The Feed 'em Soup Community Project is in need of your help. About 54% of Feed 'em Soup's operating budget was cut when Phi Sigma Kappa fraternity discontinued its meal plan services. In order to keep its doors open, the nonprofit needs about $70,000 and is currently trying to reach out to other organizations to partner and coordinate to fundraise. The Barbed Wired Betties is partnering with the organization to raise funds for this Saturday. Proceeds from the event will be split between Feed 'em Soup and the American Legion.
Representative Adam Kinzinger says he was impressed with the DeKalb Public Library's new expansion when he visited Monday. Some of the new features on display are the self-checkout and return machines and the new DVD rental system, which operates similar to Redbox. The DeKalb Public Library is open 7 days a week and located on the 300 block of Oak Street.
DeKalb Park District Director Jason Mangum has been relieved of duties on the board after their February 24th meeting. Mangum was hired in 2014 after a year-long period when the Park District operated without an executive director. The Park District isn't commenting at this time about Mangum's departure or his replacement, but they want the public to know that things are running themselves for the time being.
Visiting the DeKalb Park District could have been a great idea thanks to this good weather we've been having.
Emery Dhanens is here now to tell us if this weekend will be just as good as the last few days. Emery, what's the weather looking like?
Well, we're expecting these warm temperatures to stick around, but we will see some rain closer to the weekend. Let's take a look at Thursday, where we'll see temperatures generally in the mid to upper 50s with a chance of showers in the morning and then partly cloudy conditions after that. To hear which day of the week will be the best for going outside, stay with us. You're watching NTC News Tonight.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Welcome back, everyone. Hopefully you're all enjoying the extremely warm temperatures we've seen over the past couple of days. Tuesday was absolutely beautiful, and today it's still very nice out there. High of about 61 degrees today, much above normal for this time of year, but it's been pretty cloudy out there. If you were outside at all today, you saw these mostly overcast skies, but there was a little bit of sun here and there, and we have that west wind about 13 miles per hour, but although it's been cloudy and a little bit breezy, feels great out there with those warm temperatures. Now let's take a look at the large scale because we have some significant weather going on, not necessarily for us here in DeKalb, but to the south we've seen all kinds of flooding, and on Tuesday we had all kinds of reports around this area for tornadoes and hail and wind reports, and again flooding. In Louisiana, they've actually declared a state of emergency because of the flooding, and a lot of people have been evacuated because in some places The floodwaters are up to their rooftops, and 2 people have already died. And unfortunately, as we go into Thursday, this system is a very slow-moving system. It's only going to move off just a little bit. Just going to bring a lot more flooding into this area here in DeKalb. Pretty dry, possibility of some rain early in the morning on Thursday, but nothing like they're going to get down in the south. And then as we go into Friday again, this slow-moving system is going to continue to bring rain and possibility for flooding to the south. But for us here in DeKalb, Friday should be a pretty nice day. Now let's take it back to tonight here in DeKalb, where we'll see partly cloudy conditions, with an overnight low of about 44 degrees. Then as we go into Thursday, a slight chance of some rain in the morning, but if that does happen, just some sprinkles, nothing too significant. And we'll have partly cloudy conditions after that with a high of about 54 degrees. Then into Thursday night, more clouds with an overnight low of about 35 and pretty calm winds coming out of the north. Now let's take it to the 5-day forecast, where we have generally pretty warm temperatures, which is something I know I love to see, especially as we're going into springtime. Again, Thursday, high of about 54 with partly cloudy skies. Friday looks like it'll be a nice day out there. Pretty sunny expected as of right now, high of about 56, but do be looking into the weather before then because things are always changing. But as of right now, I'm planning to do my outside activities on Friday, where we'll see that sunshine. Then into Saturday and Sunday and even into Monday, those temperatures generally around 60 degrees, but we do have some chances for rain in our area. So although it'll be pretty warm, it will be a little bit rainy this weekend, so hopefully you can still get out there and enjoy the weather. That's all for weather, so let's send it back to the desk.
New information has surfaced in the death of a Chicago child.
And a vetoed bill that would fund MAP grants couldn't be overturned. These are today's State Lines.
TYSHAWN Lee's killer told police he had planned on torturing the boy before killing him. Prosecutors claim Dwight Boone Dottie, who was charged on Monday in the November murder of Lee, planned to torture the young boy by cutting off his fingers and ears. Prosecutors say Boone Dottie lured the child from a park and into an alley. There he shot him numerous times at close range.
If you rely on MAP grants, it might be more difficult to get to class. A bill that would have allowed for funding to MAP grants fell 2 votes short of overturning a veto. Governor Bruce Rauner's veto of the bill was overridden by the Senate. However, it didn't make it past Congress.
A poorly worded tweet isn't standing up to criticism. The National Republican Senatorial Committee deleted a tweet Tuesday afternoon that claimed Democratic Representative Tammy Duckworth, a double amputee, didn't stand up for veterans. Duckworth, a retired lieutenant colonel, lost both her legs in combat during the Iraq War. The NRSC blames the media for focusing more on a deleted tweet than Duckworth being sued by Veterans Affairs whistleblowers.
With the Illinois primaries in less than a week, the candidates are looking to score some brownie points. John Kasich, Ted Cruz, and Donald Trump have scheduled events throughout the Chicagoland area. The only GOP candidate not showing up in Illinois is Marco Rubio. On the Democratic side of the aisle, Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders have both been running TV and radio ads in Illinois. And yesterday, former President Bill Clinton campaigned in Evanston for his wife. Those are today's State Lines.
An explosion in Seattle was caused by a gas leak.
And a top ISIS leader is the main target in the latest airstrikes. Here's what's happening in today's World Watch.
A gas leak triggered a massive explosion in Seattle early this morning. 9 people were injured, including 1 battalion chief and 8 firefighters. They were treated at a local hospital for minor injuries and released this morning. 1 building was destroyed and many others were damaged.
A top ISIS leader is believed to be dead after U.S. airstrikes in Syria. The leader, known as Omar the Chechen, is considered one of the group's top commanders. The U.S. has also conducted airstrikes against the group's chemical weapons program with the help of a senior ISIS operative who was detained 3 weeks ago.
And here in the States, primaries continued in 4 other states on Tuesday. Trump extended his lead with winning Mississippi, Michigan, and Hawaii, while Cruz took Idaho. Sanders surprised everyone when he won Michigan with only a 2% lead. And Clinton dominated in the Mississippi primary, leading with more than 80% of the vote.
Former First Lady Nancy Reagan passed away on Sunday. She died from congestive heart failure in her home in Los Angeles. Reagan was known for being the spokeswoman for the Just Say No anti-drug campaign, which started in the 80s. She will be laid to rest on Friday at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library and Museum next to her husband. She was 94 years old. And that's today's World Watch.
Welcome back to another week of NTC Sports. I'm Mike Piorier. The men's basketball team looked to advance in the MAC tournament against Western Michigan. Let's see how that played out. Men's basketball team hosting Western Michigan in the first round. Right at the start of the gate, Trayvon Baker hits an open three to give the Huskies an early lead. Later in the first, Marshawn Wilson would find Eric Armstead, who hit a three of his own. Then Baker, off the pick and pop, hits another three as the Huskies' lead grew to 7. Armstead would then shake off his defender and hit his second three of the game. A couple of plays later, Levi Bradley drives to the basket and makes that nice layup. Great passing also paid off later as Baker would hit his third three at the end of the half. But later on, it was a struggle for both teams. In the second half, Western Michigan would hit a layup that put them up by 1. But 6 clutch free throws in a row by Levi Bradley and a huge free throw followed by Eric Armstead secured a big win for NIU as they shimmy their way to Cleveland with a score of 56-50.
It's a wonderful feeling. We're going to cherish this feeling, this moment, but we know that we're not done yet. We know that.
And the next game we might get it going, and then if we make it to the semifinals, it might be one of those different games. I pride myself and this team on really playing each other.
The men's team also earned their 20th win of the season a week ago, something that they haven't done in 20 years, and it came on a special night. Friday was senior night for guard Trayvon Baker and forward Chuksi Rugbu as they were both honored with a last walk onto the court with their families. A couple of minutes gone by into the game now. Baker misses the layup, but as Ball State tries to bring it up the court when Marshawn Wilson would steal the ball away from Ball State, and then he would take off down the court and try to make a dunk. He would miss, however. A little bit embarrassing there, Marshawn. Later on, Baker would find Wilson, who drains the open three, and that would extend the Husky lead to 7. The threes would keep raining in as Eric Armstead would hit a three from the outside, followed by Trayvon Baker. Later, Baker would get a steal, and he would speed through the defense and make a wild layup to put NIU up by 10. Shortly thereafter, Latewan Porter would dish a nice pass to Chuksi Rugbu for a layup inside, and in the second half, Levi Bradley took over the game with an 8-0 run, hitting the nice hook early to get things going, and then Bradley, with a nice find from Michael Orris, would hit a monster three to push NIU's lead to 51-38. Later on, Orris would find Bradley again, who would make another three. Baker, at the end of the second half, he would shake and bake his defender, hit the step-back three of his own, but at the end of the night, it was the play of the game. Chuksi Rugbu was all alone, and he would rattle the rim and get the crowd going with a ferocious dunk. NIU gets their 20th win of the season for the first time in 20 years by a score of 80-69. Women's basketball looked to close out the regular season strong last weekend. It was also senior day for the women's team. Let's see how that played out. It was senior night for forward Natisha Augusta and guard Lacia Gorman as they were both honored with framed jerseys at midcourt. Minutes into the game, however, Allie Lemon would hit the baby hook here to get the lead early. Later on, Courtney Woods would show off her dribbling skills and she would hit a step-back J to give the NIU the lead back. The Huskies would later catch fire in the first half as Kelly Smith would hit an open 18-footer. And then in the second half, Woods would receive a long pass and she would bang in the nice hook for the two. And then Jasmine Harris finds Smith for the easy layup. Going into the third, Smith bangs in the acrobatic shot, but in the fourth quarter, the wheels came off as the Lady Broncos would take the lead with under 7 minutes left. NIU would try to get the lead back as Lemon hits the nice hook in traffic, but with a minute left, the Broncos hit 2 key free throws and pushed the lead to 4. In the closing seconds, Gorman would try to make a wild shot, and it doesn't go as the Lady Huskies fall 60-64. Staying with basketball now, but moving to the NBA, the Warriors were handed only their 6th loss of the season over the weekend against the Lakers. Let's see how that went. Kobe Bryant and the Lakers at home against Stephen Curry and the Warriors. Middle of the second, and Marcelo Huertas passes into the paint to Kobe Bryant. Kobe hits the fadeaway for 2. Lakers up 41-34. Nearing the end of the first half, Jordan Clarkson would intercept a pass intended for Klay Thompson, and he would go all the way for the easy slam. 60-46 Lakers at the half. Third quarter, and D'Angelo Russell loses it to Klay Thompson, and Thompson would pass ahead to Draymond Green, who would then toss it over to Stephen Curry, who lays it in for 2, cutting the lead to 12. Lakers up 10 now in the third quarter, and Kobe Bryant with a nice no-look bounce pass to Julius Randle, who finishes strong at the rim. Into the fourth quarter now, and the Lakers win the jump ball. Marcelo Huertas gets it, and he throws up the pretty pass to Larry Nance Jr. Take a look at it again as Lance goes up high and down hard for the dunk. The Lakers would win this one easily, and they hand the Warriors the loss number 6 of the season, 112-95. That was a heck of a win by the Lakers over the Warriors, but so good that we're going to go back to that game for a moment. It's time for the play of the day. Fourth quarter, and off the jump ball, Marcelo Huertas takes it, runs up court, tosses it way up there to Larry Nance Jr., and he goes up for the slam. Take a look at it one more time as Nance gets some great air to finish the play. Great teamwork nets Nance our play of the day. That's all for NTC Sports. Ryan will be back after spring break in 2 weeks with more sports. Have a good one.
Coming up, one Sycamore neighborhood is finding new life after its residents have been flooded out. You're watching NTC News Tonight.
If I got to go to college, oh my goodness. I like discovering new things. You get to see what works for you and what doesn't. That helps you evolve as a person. You get to make like a supernova of skill or talent or whatever it is. I've always wanted to go to college. I just feel like that's my destiny. My name is Queen, and I am your dividend.
The Evergreen Village Trailer Park in Sycamore was closed because of flooding concerns. Alex Isom shows what is being done to transform the area.
Former Evergreen Village Mobile Park in Sycamore is transforming into a forest preserve after relocating 400 residents. Evergreen Village is unsafe for residents to live there because it's located in a floodplain. DeKalb County received about $7 million in state and federal grants to buy the property and return it to an open space.
Being restored to kind of natural, floodplains and everything else, those are just going to naturally happen now. So there's not going to be people in danger of, being electrocuted or anything like there were before when there was homes there.
123 mobile homes were demolished in the process. The cleanup continues at Evergreen Village and should be completed by the summer. The DeKalb zoning director thinks the transformation will be great for the community.
It won't matter if it floods anymore. We're not going to have structures, buildings that are going to be damaged. We're not going to have residents that are going to be flooded out. This is a perfect solution because it creates a wonderful amenity for the community.
The property will include trails, a picnic area, and benches. The project was expected to be completed by May 1st, but more work needs to be done.
A wonderful place where people can go and recreate, and I think that attractive amenity will enhance the city and the county as a whole. So I'm very excited. It's a wonderful reuse of property, which in the past has been very much a problem for the residents.
The grant requires that the land be left as open space, which means it won't be developed. A grand opening will be held in the summer. For NTC News, I'm Alex Isom.
Thanks, Alex. And all the residents were relocated to other homes by the end of 2014.
That would have been a difficult place to live in. NTC News Tonight is produced and directed by students here at Northern Illinois University. We want to thank you for being with us.
Enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll be back the same time next week. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, everyone.